Hello,
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Hawaiian Mint Recap. I'm Ricky,
And I am Cesar. And
and we did
oh
it.
my God. Oh,
It happened. The finale
it has been
of season 36.
it has been so cool. These past couple days have been insanely
It's been
fun.
pretty incredible.
Today the last of the cast left New York. We were able to
Yeah.
hang out with a lot of them. Um Shout out to Busy and Sunny that couldn't make it to the
Yes,
finale.
we missed you,
We
but we
miss
love
you, we
you.
love you, and we hope you're okay.
And yes,
Whoa, so much to cover.
someone
Thank you.
noticed the shirts are back.
Hey, for the finale. They made it.
We thought we'd bring them back.
They made a comeback.
Yes.
It's been how are you feeling?
It's been pretty awesome. We just want to say thank you all so much for your support and your love, the comments, and the feedback, and just all the support has been so wonderful. It really has meant so much to us to hear all from all of you, and it's just been really nice. We've been showered with so many positive comments, and
Everything.
yeah,
And I also want to
it's
say
just
it.
been great.
I also want to say thank you to my family. Gracias por todo el apoyo, por siempre haber estado ahí. And I'm getting emotional. It's just like, it's been so cool. It's been great. Just such an experience. Like, since the moment we apply and then going and then waiting for a year and a half, like even the waiting, like a lot of people were like, were you mad that the other season came after? And honestly, it was part of the process. It was just part of getting ready for this moment. We kept it quiet to absolutely everyone. We were
Nobody
just
knew.
like quiet, just to make sure that everyone got that experience. We know what happened on the second to last leg. Ricky did awesome, but it took him a little bit of time.
We'll get to it.
Hi to everyone that is
But
joining.
everyone
now.
that's joining, thank you so much for coming
Hi,
and
Sarah.
joining us every week. We really appreciate it, and yeah, it's just been
you
really
have
great.
made this extra special,
Very.
like with the questions, with the comments, and like we're focusing on the love out there. Like we're just focusing on that. We have received so many comments as well on like our relationship and just like representation. I mean, and that's something that for me, the race had representation since the beginning, especially like queer representation, and that for me was, whoa, that could be me one day. And now me doing it with Ricky is just
it
so
made it
cool.
extra special, and also like we were just highlighted so beautifully, and we thank CBS and The Amazing Race for doing that for us and for other queer couples out there to kind of just see a reflection of themselves on TV, and you don't always get to see that, and it's really special when you do, and it makes you feel seen. And
also, just to give the example, like anybody can do the race. If you're downing it, if you were waiting for a sign, this might be the sign. Like, we have love encountering people. If you see us out there, say hi. We love talking about the race. And like
don't hesitate to say hi.
Because we went to the Statue of Liberty with some of our castmates, and now friends, and now family. Like, they have become family. And some people recognize us, and some people were like, oh, we just didn't want to bother you. It's like, honestly, it's not bother. Like, it's, if you want tips, like, we have the tips, and it's just been great. So just thank you so much. We just wanted to take this little time to say thank you. Thank you.
Without
Are
crying.
you ready?
Again.
Yeah, I know, because we've been showered with love.
It's been really wonderful. So let's get to it, because we have two legs to cover.
Combined in one.
The production and the editing team did a fantastic job, and we had barely any commercials, which was fantastic.
Yeah, at some point we were on the party, and we were like,
when are the commercials coming? They didn't happen. It was great. And thank you for everyone who came to the finale party in New York City. Thank you, Barry Park. It was fantastic. But let's get to it. The first leg was, we were still in the Dominican Republic.
And we were on a beach called Sosua, I believe. Yes, I'm almost sure.
Yeah,
I got it.
It was fun.
We get on a boat to get on a catamaran, and like we're just waiting there to start swimming. We were provided with goggles,
a life vest, and flippers, flippers.
Yeah. And because we finished last leg first, second, Rod and Leticia were starting with us.
Yeah.
And then the guy says, "Are you ready? ¿Están
Yeah.
listos? Al agua." And like we just jump and start going.
Ready, set, go.
I have to give a shout out to Ricky because he was the first one to the clue. One more time, you can see that you don't need all the muscles to be there first.
Yeah, it was a pretty far swim. They made
was
it
a
look like it was pretty short, but the boat was pretty far out there, and it was out there. Like,
I have a question here.
What was it?
And thanks for joining us, the Tar Pit
Oh,
podcast.
Tar Pit, thank you. How
Um,
long do you have to wait?
let's
on the
see.
boat before
I
you
think
start?
they did like a couple drone shoots, so maybe 15 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, we were out there just for a little while. It was kind of interesting because the boat was like it was kind of close, and then the boat slowly started to go further and further away from the buoy, and I was like, oh my gosh, like we're getting further away.
And also,
yeah.
we to Beanie gets nauseous really easily.
Oh yeah.
So having to wait another 15 minutes.
Yeah,
he
was a trooper. Yeah, anyway, so we just like dove just full force, just paddling our little hearts out.
And we get there and we have our little like technical stop, which is what we mentioned.
There was like
well,
a quick
because
we get like 2-minute stop to get remiked.
Linda, I see your question. We're gonna get back to it because that's a really one.
I like that. Our favorite teacher, Roadblock.
Yeah. So then we got there, we changed really fast. And then we start looking, we get our clue that says detour, dive trip, or rum sip. Take drink orders from a band of pirates and a diversity bar, then properly prepare and serve the specialty cocktails to receive your next clue. You have 3,000 Dominican pesos for this leg of the race.
Yeah.
We asked for directions once. The bar was really close. I think Rod and Leticia didn't ask, and they ended up finding it.
Yeah, they just ran down, which was smart.
It was really smart.
Went for it.
They ended up finding it first, so they made it to the place.
Why did we not do the other one? What was our reasoning for not doing?
Because we both have work on the hospitality. Like, okay, again, like one more time.
We both worked in like the restaurant bar industry, so that was like right up our alley. Yeah, and we got there. It was pretty quick. And
so we got there, and something that you didn't see is like we see the pirates, and like we're here for a fun time.
Yeah.
So I think we asked 2 of the pirates, and we were like, okay, just remember them because I don't know if they're gonna repeat it. So we went back. We did one of the cocktails. We didn't check with the bartender.
Yeah, one of the things was that you had to get your drink approved by the bartender manager. The bar manager before you served the cocktail, and we did not on the first one. We were just super excited. We like jumped past it. So
we didn't have a count. So yeah.
And we learned that lesson quickly.
It also happens to Rod and Leticia.
Yeah.
So that's why we noticed. So we were like, oh, we need to remake this one. So we ended up making 8 cocktails in total.
We actually, how did you end up making 7 drinks? We actually made 8 drinks
because the first one
didn't count.
So now we go back,
and the first drink that we made was actually the frozen drink in the blender, so that was like the longest one.
I know that it wasn't like the most complicated if you think, but it had certain things.
Yeah,
that if
it was very specific.
That if you like, it was the kind of glass, the kind of garnish. But on top of that, if you wanted to make it easier, the ingredients were on top. But let's say that it said half an ounce of white rum. Underneath, it said add half an ounce of white rum. So if you didn't want, like, you just had to confirm that the ingredients on top and the bottom were the same, and just start reading the instructions for the bottom. We had all the ingredients there. There were maybe like 25 to 30 ingredients around. So like you needed to be like you had to
like be aware of like what was there, because everything was just laid out for you. So you're like reading labels, and once you started going, if you didn't put things back, your station got disorganized.
Did you wanted to drink any of the drinks? Yes,
we did.
Especially after that swim.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed.
So we just start going. We start getting it, and I think our strategy by getting one by one was because like if the pirates wouldn't repeat the drink, we knew who were we delivering, and we just were in order. But because of that, we were so focused on just like keep doing it that's what happened, and that's why we ended up making an extra one.
which didn't really put us so far behind because we were.
I mean, we ended up leaving first, but we could have used maybe those minutes on the next one.
Yeah, that 2 or 3 minutes could have been very helpful.
Yeah, because we get our clue, and our clue says, travel by taxi to Cabarete Beach to find your next clue. So now we're running to get these taxis, and funny enough, we get a cameo from the taxi driver from the previous leg.
Yeah, Rod and Leticia had the taxi driver from the previous leg that Vinny and Amber had, who apparently had no clue where they were going, which I think they probably did. I mean, a taxi driver, most taxi drivers in their own city know where they're going.
So we get on our taxi, we make sure that he knows where he's going. He says yes, so now we're heading to this beach. And he was driving really fast.
I was a little scared for my life on that ride.
Can we have that map, please? Because it wasn't such a big ride.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 18 minutes for this one. So
yeah, so everything kind of was like right here
at the beginning. Like the bar was over there, and the catamaran. So like we drove to Cabarete, and that's when we find our next clue that says Roadblock, who wants to take a stand. We decide that it's going to be Ricky, and it says get a crash course in windsurfing, then stay up on your board for 1 minute to receive your next clue.
The longest minute of your life.
We got
the title of the episode.
It's really straightforward.
It was straightforward. It like you didn't need to like do an obstacle. You didn't need to like do very much. There were a couple of factors that, of course, like windsurfing, you're battling the wind. You have this giant sail that's supposed to catch the wind. So that was a challenge. The water, there was this very strong current that day. One of the things they didn't show while I was out there, because I was out there for so long, I was battling the current. So at one point there was like, while in the part of the challenge was we were like designated a safety zone. So like the current took me out of the safety zone and I had to get out of the water with the board, carry the board down the beach, swim back out.
And at this point,
on the board.
It had happened like 20 minutes. So he was starting
I had already done like several attempts. I was probably like halfway through. And then the current took me back down out of the safety zone. Then I just stayed in the water and I had to swim back into the safety zone. So like, I'm not just like up and down on the board. I was like in and out of the water, carrying the board, swimming back and forth.
And like here, I just want to make a quick tips for future racers. If you're doing the Roadblock, you can ask for things, for something like, let's say gloves, or in this case, water. Like, because I had the water and he looked really exhausted, but like, I'm not supposed, like I cannot be offering him anything. Yeah. So he had to be the one asking. So if you're gonna race and you are the one doing the Roadblock,
he just sits by. I would have had to go over to him and said,
or if I have the additional information,
can I have the information, or I need this. I have to be the one to ask.
I cannot help, but I can hand him things if he asks for it. So just take note of that. Yeah. So as for me, my perspective, I was just like watching, just like looking at my watch. I see Leticia going in.
She killed it.
She got it. So Ricky was giving his back to Leticia.
No, she was in front of me. I watched
her.
No,
she was behind. No, she was behind you.
She was in front of
Ricky,
me.
I had you there, Leticia.
The elephant.
I do remember that. I do remember that because I was wishing that Ricky was behind Leticia, because Leticia was like, just like bending her knees even more. And that helped really her a lot. I think she got it on the second, third try. Like it was fast.
My instructor, like he gave me really great pointers, and he was telling me like, you're doing a great job. You have it. Like, just keep breathing. Like, so he wasn't giving me clear like indications that I was doing something wrong.
Because you were doing it right, but it was like getting the technique.
It was just the technique. I wasn't getting it.
And just remember, like, if on the additional information did not say, like, you have to do it exactly as, like, find your way. I mean, just putting it out there. Like, we did it already. Like, just putting it out there.
They gave you like, the instructor was there to guide you in any way they could. And I'm telling, he was like my guardian angel. Like, he kept me sane the whole time. He was cheering me on because I couldn't hear you on the beach.
Oh no.
So he was there like as my support system. Like, And as it was going along, like Leticia left, then Juan left, and I was really nervous. I was really scared. Like I just, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna end up ruining this for us. Like,
but you were still going.
But I
that
still
is what I
did
value.
not
It's
stop.
just
And I
like,
was like, I'll be out here for hours if I have to. As
just
long as
until, like,
I complete this task, like I'm not giving up. Even if it took me 100 times, I was not giving up. So I finally, like, it's funny. I looked at the instructor and I was like, I have to, like, because Vinny was swimming out. And I looked at him and I was like, I have to get this. Like, this is it right now. And I hopped up there and I don't know what happened. The waves calmed down. Something like my body just like clicked in and I held it. And I was like, and I held it. And then he gave me the thumbs up, but I was so focused that I didn't hear him. And he was like, okay, because he had been cheering me on. He was like, okay, you got it. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I got it. And he's like, okay, you got it. And I'm like, yeah, I do got it. And he's like, okay, you got it. And I was like, wait, I got it. Like he said it like 3 times. And I was like, oh, okay, I got it.
And to know that, like, just consider that he's not the instructor that is there. There was a little boat there that they have like a flag. So they were like with a chronometer in hand. Like, and like you don't see this, but like it's just like for you to know what happened.
It wasn't the instructor necessarily timing me. There was someone, like a producer,
like where the cameras here. Well, there's always like
a producer judging, like,
but not a producer. There's judges.
Oh,
like they judges through the whole season. There's the same people that are judging all of that. They're totally impartial and like that, like things like that. They were chronometer in hand and they have the little flag.
Yeah.
So like I just keep seeing like the flag for Leticia, the flag for Juan, and I was like, come on. But I was like, come on, Ricky. Like at this point, we were there for the, like, we keep saying it, and like we might sound like a broken record, but we were there enjoying the experience, and like that was part of it. And of course it was crazy, and that's exactly why we didn't say anything, because we wanted our family, like, and just for everyone to see.
My aunt says,
yeah,
the anxiety was real.
Yeah, to see that precisely.
It really was. And so anyway, so I get the go, and I like jump and dive off the board.
I see him coming, get ready with our bags, and I'm like, ready for him.
Let's go. And he's like, oh, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, thank you. Like, let's go. I was like, we just got it. Like, we'll relax when we're in the taxi.
So now we get the next clue, and it says, take a taxi to Olympic beachfront, pick a dune buggy, and drive to the end. So we go back to our cab that we have held. We get on the cab and he knows where it is, so we don't have to worry. We're driving that way. And he said like, oh, we're getting really close. As we're getting close, we see Juan and Shane cab getting out of there empty. And we just see that.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's right. I remember that.
I mean, we were like still, I don't know how many minutes.
Because we were like coming down the same road where the dune buggies were lined up, and the taxi was coming back out where we were coming in. And we knew we were in third, like we had left.
We saw Vinny and Amber over there. And something that I found really funny, because again, we don't get to see what the other teams do, like until we're watching live. And we have a map over here as well, like for you to see how did it go. But Vinny was really funny, like, yeah, the dragon can be slayed, and I just found it like, that was really funny. Really funny.
This one.
Yes, that's the one. So now we're going from the roadblock to Olympic beachfront, and with that, it was pretty much 12 minutes, and then another 6 minutes on the dune buggy, and then we get
the dune buggy was really fun.
At the dune buggy, we got one route info that says of the. Oh wait, no, it's the same.
Yeah, take the
drive to the end of the pad, then kayak to the pit stop at Wilson Restaurant. Yeah. We make it to the kayak, and another thing funny that happens is like we were so rushed. First of all, you see it on the episode, like Ricky's seatbelt got tangled.
Oh yeah,
and that was something stressful because we know Vinny and Albert to be at any point. Yeah,
we stuck in the harness.
We got out of there. We get on the kayak, and like we're pushing it towards the water, and Ricky's like, hurry, just get in. I keep pushing. I'm not the lightest person, so I get on the kayak, and Ricky start pushing. He's like, no, actually get out.
Because we weren't far enough out, and when he sat down, we were like essentially in the sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get on.
You know, it's actually funny. There was a moment when I was a kid that I got stuck in a seatbelt and they had to cut the seatbelt out.
Really?
Yeah, in my
I didn't know
grandparents'
that.
car. Yeah.
Well,
So it's kind of a flashback moment. Like, oh no, I'm stuck in a seatbelt again. You have to cut me out. But anyway, so we kayak across, and
we run.
The kayak ride across the river was not far. You could see Phil across.
We could have fallen like Ron and Leticia.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Thankfully, we didn't.
We didn't, because that also could have cost us, because you saw when we got to the mat.
We got to the mat. We
Amber
were chatting.
Vinny
they were
right
really
behind
close.
us.
They were really close. So we were just like talking to Phil, and that was really exciting. We were crying over there. We made it.
Top 3. I mean, that really was our goal, like the entire time. We did not expect to like do well, but our biggest goal, and I think for most racers when they go on, it's like getting first, like throughout the race is fantastic. You get some prizes, you get some cash, great. But the real goal is to make it to that top 3. The only leg that matters, you hear all racers in the past, the only leg that matters is the last leg.
And this one was really stressful. It was just
so to like struggle that much and know that like everything was so tight, like to that penultimate.
We made it. We're gonna get the chance to go against the other teams for the first place, and like anyways, we're gonna get to run through like the finish line, and I think that was so cool. We were really excited. So we just step aside because we saw that Vinny and Amber were coming. And as they arrived, like Juan just yelled from the side, like, "Hey boys, like they're about, like Vinny's about to propose."
Yeah, we were like hiding. So behind Phil, there was like a little restaurant bar. So we were hiding, and we could like see under the hut, and we're like watching. We're like, "Oh my God, it's happening!" We're like, "Oh!"
It was really sweet.
It was so sweet. So congratulations to Amber and Vinny. Like, what an amazing experience they got to live, and you know, now they get to enjoy their engagement and, you know, have this amazing experience to set a foundation for the rest of their life. And I don't know, it was just, that moment was really cool. And I'm glad they got to share it in a beautiful location. And
then we got the chance to go and congratulate them. So like, it's like out of all the teams, they were the ones that we got the chance to say goodbye.
That's true. Because all the other teams, like once they get to the mat, they essentially get sent away. So they were the only team that we were actually able to go and like say goodbye to, which was very nice.
And I mean, that was pretty much everything for this leg. I do have some drawings, and also like if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. We're still missing our packing video or how to train videos, so we're gonna be releasing those
coming up.
So yeah, just
hit like and subscribe. The more likes and subscriptions we get, kind of helps us out.
And also like
check out our Instagram,
because we're gonna be posting more things over there, like
videos
and what is happening in our lives, like how are we transitioning. Like for now, we love musicals, so like we're trying to put together like a musical Amazing Grace concoction there. We like uploaded our first one, but like my drawings. I'm ready for
also
my
if
drawings.
You have any questions about this DR leg, go ahead and pop them in there now so we can answer them. And let's see your little pictures.
These were the ones for this leg. I had the guy that like let us go out of the catamaran on the sea. And then this one was Ricky's instructor. He didn't have a head apparently. And then that one was Ricky. That one is Ricky, clearly. I forgot like the well done hair. And this one was like out of like down to the pattern of the cloth and like the boots, the brush that he had. So like we tried to go as detailed. And this one was the front of our notebook. Amazing things will happen. Indeed they did. And that was really, really cool.
Let's see. There are a couple of questions. Was the proposal planned?
So
Vinny had that ring with him the entire time. Like that was the ring. Like he said he had it packed in his bag like the entire time, which like means that he had the intention on proposing to her. at some point. So
Okay, so this
that
question:
was pretty cool.
do they actually go home or still fly everyone on the charter? So with this one, they flew separately. Well, let me leave it there. They
Yeah.
flew separately, but because we haven't been to any cold places, they ditch their jackets. So if you see at the finish line, Beanie and Amber have sweatshirts that said
know,
Philly because they bought them at the airport because in Philly was so
they
cold.
didn't have any
Yeah,
of their
that,
winter
that
stuff.
they didn't have any more of the winter stuff. So that was just like something funny. And then what else? What else? Yeah, the musical, that's fun. We started with Sister Act.
Mhm.
I will follow him. The proposal plan, yes. And then where are we? Okay, the memory challenge. We'll get to this one.
Oh yeah. We'll talk about the memory challenges
Yeah.
in the last yeah.
And then what else? Okay, if there's no more questions for this leg, we can just move on to the next one because
Many were surprised that we didn't do the same.
Oh, that we didn't do.
Meaning a proposal.
Oh.
Hey, listen, you never know what the future holds.
We said it on our casting, on our audition tape. Like it took us 9 months to become to put the label on a relationship and be boyfriends.
Yeah.
Like, so we're just like, yeah,
we're committed to each other.
So we'll see. Stay tuned. Okay, so now we get to the airport.
We get to the airport and we're walking down the tarmac and feels like we're going to the city of brotherly love, and I lose it.
Yeah, I was
like, see my excitement, and I'm
on the other side. Like, where is that? Like,
where's that? I'm like, oh my god, Philadelphia! Like, I was so excited. Hey, Stab.
How did you keep the excitement in check?
How did I keep it in check? It was, it's so funny because I kind of like overdid it, and I should have played it down
because we did that with Puerto Vallarta.
Yes, like, we played it down in Puerto Vallarta because we didn't want anyone to know that we had been there before, and I shouldn't have like got so excited, because what happened when we got to Philly, Rod, Leticia, and Juan and Shane knew that I knew the city. So again, and this is just like the big, just putting it out there. If you have watched the race from the beginning, you know that there's almost a curse that for a lot of teams that have raced on their own city, they have either didn't win or just like being eliminated on their city, which was like, I think the family season. And then we saw it like happening to people like did so well, like Justin and Diana. They knew, or what is it, Frank and Margarita from season 1. Like, you have seen it through, if you have seen the show. If not, if these are news for you, like, it happens more often than not. Yeah, so we knew, like, we talked about it, like, going into it was like, listen, yes, I know Philadelphia, but regardless,
we're gonna keep doing what we're doing
to do exactly what we planned, what we did the entire race. We're gonna stop. We're going to get directions, and we're going to double check. We're not gonna make any mistakes. We're not gonna be like overconfident. We're not gonna do, we're just gonna keep doing what we've done
because it had worked so far.
Because it worked, and yeah. So we got there. We were on the Rocky Steps. They're not really the Rocky Steps.
the museum,
Philadelphia Art Museum.
Okay, so something as well that I want to mention here, because as a super fan, like we have talked about, like bringing either 1 or 2 backpacks. Yeah, that is true.
Doesn't always mean.
And then just super fun. Going back to my thought, either 1 bag or 2 bags. For us, 2 bag work because we divided the weight. We never put another super fun tip, because I don't think we brought this one up. If your bag is little, keep it with you. Don't put it on the truck. Like, that will save you a couple seconds. It might get hot in the cab, as we saw a couple times.
Yeah.
But keep it with you if you can, because that's just gonna be way, way easier. Okay. So now going back to the backpack. The night before, we decide that we're ditching one of the backpacks and pretty much all our clothes. We're keeping whatever we're wearing. And we decided to keep like the little souvenirs, like the hat from the boleadoras, the handkerchief, and a couple more things.
Yeah, we condensed everything down to just like a couple of essentials in one of the backpacks. and
we
it
were-
was like super light.
So because this time, usually in a regular season, the plane arrives and you leave your bags checked, and then you just do the race with the fanny pack, and you figure it out later about your bags. In this case, we couldn't, but because we're gonna be like taken to the start line,
Mhm.
we did ask, and we told them like what our plan was, and they were like, "No, we're gonna ask all teams to bring their backpacks
To
with
keep
them,
your backpack.
and then you decide whatever you want to do." So we're like, okay, we're gonna ditch them. Like we're gonna ditch it at the start.
Yeah.
But because of that as well, it just happened that the Philly Marathon was about to happen,
Yeah.
and it was either the starting point
It
or
was the
something
starting
like that.
point. So right outside of the museum, they were setting up. There's like a big, large area there that they do tons of like concerts and parades and marathons.
So dropping a backpack over there wouldn't have been the
And
best
so they were
idea.
like, you cannot
Yeah.
drop your backpack there. And it was like,
And we saw that we had a car.
understandable.
We see the 4 cars that are
Yeah.
there.
And so we had the car, so it wasn't like we were sprinting around this. We knew at least that we weren't sprinting around the city. We could just leave them in the car. And if we wanted to leave them in the car, we would.
Because otherwise, just remember that if you are making it to the finish line, the last team is gonna get 10,000. The next team is 25,000, and so you can buy those things
You
again.
can buy those things again.
Just get rid of it, because that might be the difference between winning and not. So just another tip, putting it out there.
Where you're not worried that we might need something for the upcoming task. So
we
made sure that we had our notebook.
That we had it all here.
I think we.
I can't remember what else.
We only kept like some electrolytes, some water, I don't even remember. Like a hat because it was cold.
I can't remember what
Maybe
else. But
a
like
pair
it was
of
just
shoes.
down to the essentials.
Yeah, it was like very, very basic stuff. our step clicker.
Yeah.
Yes, the gloves stayed, but
like
of
the
course we
gadgets,
didn't use them
because the little gadgets were there.
Yeah. But we dropped it. I think the bag probably only weighed like 6 pounds at that point. But we weren't really worried that we were going to need much because honestly, we were prepared for like a couple of challenges, a memory challenge,
including the memory
match,
challenge.
and like that was it. We knew it wasn't going to be much more. We didn't need much more.
And so we get our first clue. It's really exciting. There's only the 3 of us. We have done our morning interviews. We're just like, what is going to happen?
Very chilly that morning.
It was really cold. It was,
and that winter gear we packed and had that with us the entire race. Because we didn't know where we were racing to. We didn't know we were staying in South America.
But now we have heard from other racers, for example, Luis and Michelle, that when they were to Iceland, the race provided because they didn't have something like
but that was like severe cold. Like if we had gone to like somewhere further north and it was like snowing,
but that's also maybe like this is a supposition. Like don't take us for word. Like pack whatever you need, and then if you need to ditch. But okay, we get our first clue, and it says drive yourself to Lincoln Financial Field to find your next clue. You have $20 for this leg of the race. Thankfully, they gave us money because someone decided to go to New Jersey and they passed a toll.
Oh my God.
And they needed the money for the toll. But yeah. We get a clue. We run down to the cars and we pick a car. We start driving. And halfway through there, because Ricky did not know how to get there. That was the only place that we did not stop and ask for directions.
I knew so from the museum to Lincoln Financial Field, so when we were in the car, my family grew up in Southwest Philadelphia. I lived there until I was in fifth grade. In 6th grade, I had moved. So I knew Southwest Philly. I also lived there as an adult before moving to New York City. And when I said I live 10 blocks from there, I actually lived 10 blocks from the art museum in 2017. And I lived there the few years prior. So I knew that area. I knew how to get to the art museum to the stadium. There's 676 entrances right there. Hop on 95. It's not a far drive.
I'm taking notes of the questions. We'll be getting to those. Just making sure that we'll get to them.
We'll get to some of the questions.
Yes.
So it was very quick.
Halfway there, we noticed that Rod
We're
and
like,
Leticia are behind us.
there's a car following us.
And I was like, Ricky, lose them.
And
Lose
this
them.
is the reason why I should have never said that I knew Philadelphia, because Rod and Leticia, very smart of them, don't let Ricky and Cesar out of our sight because they know the city. And we didn't stop for directions. I was like, let's get some space between us. Let's just go. And they followed us to the stadium, which was very smart on their behalf.
So then we make it there. We park our car. And then silly little thing. There were 3 spots with a flag. So marked parking spots. And because I'm a rule follower, and so are you. What are you?
We arrived at the stadium first.
We arrived at the stadium first. Ricky parks next to the spot with the flag. And I'm like,
it was like flag.
Ricky. So like, excuse you, but like you have to park where the flag is. Like,
so he made me back up, move over a spot.
And at that point, Brad and Leticia get there, park, get out, and like they get the clue first.
So it was like,
but it's seconds. But it's still, we just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
No trouble.
No trouble.
Following
we
rules.
Get in trouble. Follow the rules.
And we get there, and it says, oh no, wait, I didn't.
I know we didn't take a lot of notes on this last leg.
Because and I didn't transcribe it. Like, this is what my quick.
This was the quick book.
But it says something.
We had 2 notebooks. We had a quick book and an actual.
It's something about the team spirit.
Who's got team spirit?
So we're thinking that it's cheering. That it's gonna be something like either
cheerleading or some kind of.
And you hear us saying it on the episode. It's just like,
who's gonna cheer?
Who's gonna cheer? Like, do you want to do it? I want to.
Could pick up choreography quickly. More agile.
Again, it's super important. Like, try to think like you're in a stadium, and it's saying something like team spirit.
Okay.
Like, what could it be? Like, if you're racing, just think about the 5 different options that it could be, and which of you could do it best. Or
so
fastest,
or you're at a sports stadium. I'm a little bit more sporty. Okay, cheering. Okay, I'm like, I don't know. I'm a little bit more musically inclined. I can dance a little bit.
And if it's a choreography, like
something that has to do with that.
So then we said, Ricky, we go in, and those customs with the fanny pack and his name,
oh my gosh, they were so cool. I like walked in. We were in like the locker room.
But it took a lot of time to.
It took a good like 5 minutes to get it.
Okay, this is the question that I've been asking.
Okay, so I get all suited up. And we run through, and I see the Philly Fanatic wasn't there.
You're running with him.
I ran in with him, but when you're coming down, you get to choose.
Okay.
And so it was Swoop, who's the Eagles, and then it was Gritty. Now it says team up with, right? So it says team up with a mascot. I don't know what we're doing till we get out there. So I look at the 2. Gritty is a larger costume. I don't know what we have to do out there. And Swoop is a smaller costume, probably able to maneuver and move a bit better. Because,
of course, Ricky has been a mascot before.
And I've been in those costumes. I've been in that type of costume before. And I was not a mascot for very long. I had done it like maybe 3 or 4 times, like filling in for the mascot at my high school. So I knew what it felt like to be in one of those costumes.
And something that you didn't get to see. Okay, so in the meantime, I get to run with Rod inside the stadium. And like, I turn to him and I'm like, is this what it feels like to run into a stadium? Like, it was just for me that, again, just enjoying it. Because like, how many times will you get to run into a stadium with this like fog thing happening?
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. So we make it, and we just get to the station that we have to wait. And I'm just waiting for Ricky to come out. Leticia came out first. Then I see Ricky coming in. And the one thing that you don't see, and you want to explain it? Like, what did you have to do?
Oh, so the first thing when you came out, actually, you know what's funny? The first thing, there's that smoke thing that scared the crap out of me. I jumped because it was very shocking. So you run out, and the first thing that you don't see is we had to carry a giant sheet cake up the stadium steps and smash it into a fan's face. I don't really understand.
How much space did you have to see? Like, was it?
I mean, it was like this, but it was far away from your face. Oh. So the thing was like here. So you could see inside the helmet, like the head, but your vision was out here. So it was kind of hard. Your depth perception was off. So we had to carry the sheet cake up the steps and then smash it in someone's face. So it was kind of hard to see, like walking up the steps. And if we had dropped the cake, we had to go back and get a second one. I don't really get why it was there, or
it would have been fun.
It was another just like fun, silly
needed,
thing.
I guess because like
I think they were just trying to condense things, and I don't think any of us dropped a cake, so it wasn't like a funny thing that like happened that they needed to include.
And just with the team spirit, again, if you haven't liked this video, just like it, subscribe.
Yeah,
just that helps. That helps. Okay.
So anyway,
the commercial is over.
The commercial's over. So we go, and then we have to do like the little like agility jump through the things, which was, fine. Then jump through the hoop, and then the cannon. The cannon was actually kind of fun. You had to like.
It's funny. We were watching Purple Pan podcast, and they were like, "There's 2 rules for shooting a shirt cannon.
Yeah. Make sure that
the shirt has to be inside, and you have to aim
aim
for
aim
it.
to the target. Yeah,
That was really funny.
Yeah. So you had to load the cannon, and then you had to charge the canister. So there was like 2 steps to it. And if you like didn't charge the canister enough, it wouldn't shoot the shirt far enough. And if you overdid it, that was like when you heard me, it was like, whoa, that one was like really far, because I overcharged the canister. So it was like there was some skill to it, because you had to have the right aim, the right like pressure on the can.
Okay. Here, first of all, I'm gonna post this one. We need to get the channel.
Yeah, more subscribers.
And then this other one. I wonder what is the time difference between you, Juan, and Shane, Rod and Leticia. Are you really ahead? So
at this point,
Leticia started first,
and I caught up to her at the t-shirt thing. And after I got the t-shirt, we grabbed the clue, and when we left and I got into the locker room, Shane was coming into the stadium. So he was only, however much time that was. So like maybe it took like probably 4 to 5 minutes to get suited up, and then another like 2 to 4 minutes to do the task. Like it wasn't a very long task. So they were right behind us.
How many times did you try
for the target? Probably like 6, 7. It took a couple of times to kind of like gauge the pressure. I did hit the rim of the target a couple of times, but you had to break through the paper. So that was like part of like, I hit it a couple of times, but I had to break through.
And then I saw him getting it. I get the backpacks ready. I start running down.
Yeah, so I have to get unchanged. We hop in the car, and it says Pat and Gino's.
Now we have to, we read the clue, and as we're running out, we see Juan and Shane over there.
Yeah, Juan and Shane had arrived, as we're leaving.
And then we see that
he's 5 minutes behind
that
us.
Now it's Pat and Gino's. And we do know that is a Philly.
I've been there. It's very famous. Philly is known for its cheesesteaks. And I knew where they were. It's off of Passyunk Avenue, and
still we stopped. Like we got out of there.
I knew. I was like, listen, I know where we are.
We were heading to the right direction.
And I said, let's just go. Let's get onto Broad Street and let's head towards City Hall, because that's where it is. And I said, just before the street that I think it's on, let's stop and confirm that's where it is. Because I was like, we are not just going blindly. We are going to stop and confirm like this is where I think it is. So just before Passyunk, like 2 blocks before I stopped, we asked someone for directions. And they were like, yeah, it's just 2 more blocks and then go all the way down. You'll hit it.
I'm just seeing a question here. And I just want to touch base on that, because like Juan and Shane did ask the attendant. And I think they look for Pats. And the thing is, right now that I was making the maps, I saw that like it did say King of Cheesesteaks, Pats. So it doesn't say Pat's cheesesteaks. It just goes. So the first thing that pops out like is the pizza. And like you see the conversation, and even talking to Juan and Shane, and if you want more info, I'm pretty sure they will mention it in the Lost
Yeah,
Com
they
podcast.
have their podcast Lost Comms.
Just
check
that
them
will
out.
be
They're
more
hilarious.
accurate. But I think they saw both options, and because the guy keeps saying pizza, they went for the pizza. But they did see both options. They doubted it for a second, and they ended up clicking on pizza. But it was a mistake. That, I mean, wasn't necessarily like
and if you're not from Philly, you don't, or if you've never even visited there, you don't know, like, and New Jersey is 10 15 minutes. Like, you can be in New Jersey in like 5 minutes from Philadelphia.
Shane said that it was 25 minutes on the way there and 25 minutes back. But
right,
like,
but
again, if you want more,
bridge, like, you could be into Jersey within 5 minutes of being in Philadelphia. Like, it's right there. Like, the Jersey
really,
border is right there.
just
so like, you could just be in the zone of driving, following your directions, and not even realize that you're in a different state.
So we're on our way to Pat's and Gino's, and we're thinking, are we gonna have to make them? Are we gonna have to eat them?
Yeah, we weren't sure what it was.
Just remembering season again. Oh my God, 29 individuals, 29, 28. Oh my God. Well, anyways, they had to go into the stadium in Chicago, make the hot dogs, and serve the hot dogs. So I was thinking something like that. Make a couple, eat a couple. I was ready for either.
Yeah.
And like, you could smell it as we're approaching it, and you could see it on the episode as well.
Yeah, we thought there was going to be something involved. Like, okay, you're going to have to do something to get your clue at the Pat and Gino's. Like, okay, you have to help make 10 steaks, or you have to like help deliver a cheesesteak to a local, or I don't know, or eat a cheesesteak before you get your clue.
Something. But then we get our clue.
Yeah,
it says drive to Head House Square to find your next clue. So we asked someone over there for directions.
And, when I heard that, for some reason,
Ricky kept saying it like, yeah, it's a restaurant.
It's a restaurant, but there's restaurants in that square. That's why I was like, oh man, like,
Arnold, I have to give you props because you're starting to think like a really good racer.
Yeah.
Just like thinking of every possibility that it could be. So it's just like that. That's the mentality that you have to think.
Yeah.
Like, as you go, start thinking ahead of what could possibly be.
Why are we going to this location?
Exactly.
What could you possibly need to do at this location? So we get the clue. We go to Head House Square. And I had no idea. I was like, I don't know where this is. But
we asked for.
But I had an idea that it was going to be we were already on the east side of the city, and so I was like, I'm pretty certain it's in Old City, which is like a little bit further north on the east side. So we stopped, got directions.
Marcus, I keep taking notes of your questions. Yes. We'll get back to them. Just because we want to finish the recap, and then we'll get to
Q&As at the end. Yeah.
So then we make it there, and we find the parking, and I'm still looking for a restaurant. But then we see the clue box, and we get out.
We've realized it wasn't a restaurant when we
saw the clue box. We found the clue box there. I think
no.
So.
When we found the directions, because we looked at the pictures. One of the things we always did with the Google, whenever we Googled something and we found directions, we looked at the pictures to see what reference it was. So we were like, oh, it's like just the physical square.
So we get there,
but we didn't know where the clue box was going to be. So as we were coming in, there was some parking there, and I was like, oh, it's just like straight down in this like archway.
We get there, and we open our clue. Now we need to learn the preamble
to the Declaration of Independence, not the Constitution.
So we run and we get our copy. And like, this big piece of paper is divided into colors. Each of us had to learn a color. And we just moved to the side and start learning it. It was really overwhelming again. And I said it on the show, like, yes, I do acknowledge that we've been in Spanish speaking countries, and I do speak Spanish. So like, that is helpful. And at this point, it's a really stressful situation, and I need to learn something in English that is just intricate because it has a lot of like 2-letter words. And for me, memorizing
and also
that,
not like typical like.
And I'm not familiar with it.
English.
So I wasn't super familiar. So we start learning it. Ricky's background in theater like helped him a lot. And I started struggling a lot. Then we saw Red and Leticia getting there, and I felt more of the pressure.
Yeah, we probably were rehearsing for 15 minutes, you'd say.
Uh,
15,
I don't
20.
know about timing. It felt forever.
Yeah,
it
felt
really,
like forever.
it really felt for
Timing
forever.
that day was kind of
Yeah.
bizarre.
So something that happened, and as well, another tip, take note. Out of the things that we had, because of Ricky, like struggles a little bit more on flights.
Like my ears, the pressure constant up and down. But I had earplugs just to help with the pressure. And so he was getting like distracted with everything. And I was like, here, just put these in. And so you don't have to, worry about it.
So I put those and I start like, it really helped because I was just focused on that. Like, it was easier, but then we went and tried a couple times. So we tried.
No. So what was happening was I had finished
Didn't
rehearsing
we go
mine.
and try once?
No, we pretty much had it down before
by the time we
went
went there.
Yeah, and you were like, I'm having trouble, and I was like, all right, we got it. Like one of the things that I kind of coached you on, I was like, you have to get it out loud because you were pretty much doing it like quietly, like in your head, which isn't. You're going to be performing it out loud. You need to do it out loud. Like you can't just keep putting it in your head. So I was like, okay, act it out, get it out there, like move it with your body, put like actions to it, put motions to it to kind
and
of
that
like,
helped a lot.
Get it in your body so it's not just like these weird stagnant words.
And I'm just going with a couple of questions about this right now. Why did Cesar end up with the seemingly harder half? Why did we? Did it seem shorter? It seemed shorter. I think
when we looked at it, you can if you listen back when we watched it.
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
It was the stress. Like the one time that
I said, which one do you want? And you said,
like, can I do this one?
Can I do this one? And I didn't realize which one. Jerry is a dear friend from theater. So
thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, we ended up like getting it, and then I did it so good that then someone ended up blaming it on me. Just saying, blaming me.
Well, listen, you don't really understand that, like, who's the one word I said a instead of two or whatever it was.
Welcome, Kate. Welcome everyone that is joining.
Yes, thanks for joining.
Yeah, that was really funny seeing it because that day I was really in my head, but we did not give up. We just keep trying. No. And the other
we
thing,
actually stayed on that box. Like we walked away.
Like if anything, we move aside because there was a little bench, and like we just keep saying it and going back.
We stood back up.
I don't know why Rod and Leticia weren't even trying because we were there. They could have slowed us down even by getting up or seeing how we were doing it or like something. Because
they really
it's just like if they stayed there, like if they repeated it with us, if they like. Something. I mean, I guess it's distracting, but like it would have slowed us down a little bit. So just saying that. And then this, I'm gonna go back. Well, it's related. So, what was harder? I think this one was a little harder.
Yeah, this was
because even on the Spanish one, you could read it. On this one, there was no reading.
Yeah, you weren't able to read this one, and the Spanish one was a song. I feel like songs are easier. Regardless of the language, like songs are easier to learn for me. But yeah,
and just really quick here, you should apply. I mean,
do it.
It's for everyone. Okay, so
yes, and someone said it seemed. Oh, hey, Kels. You were counting the words on your hand. Yeah.
That was on this one. You
were counting them on your hands.
On this one,
yes,
really?
You were.
Oh. Well,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you were doing.
I use a lot of
counting.
Ricky keep calling him his
seance hands. He brings them back for the Betsy Ross. His seance hands.
Just like counting there, trying to.
I don't know. No, his seance hands. I don't know what he was doing. Yeah. But I think what you were doing was I think you have a picture memory, and so using this as a tool of like these are the next words in the sentence type.
Anyways, we ended up getting it.
We get it.
We're so excited. We got our clue, and now it says
Rod and Leticia, we're still rehearsing, and we
drive yourself to Betsy Ross' house to find your next clue. We get back on the car, and like we ask for directions. We drive, and it's a really close drive. It's really like a couple blocks only. We park on the marked parking. We get out, and we see the clue box. We run to the clue box, and now we see that is the final roadblock. because we don't know exactly if it's a final, but
you don't know because
it did say like Cesar must do this one, and I think it said Leticia, and I can remember if it said Juan, or I think it might have said Juan because Shane had done already all of his. So I think it did say Leticia, Cesar, and Juan. So then I go in again, and I mentioned it on the episode. I grew up in Mexico. My story lessons were more about like Mexican history. I didn't get much of the American history. Now that I moved here, I have learned more and more. I love museums. I love reading. But this was really specific for me. And the moment that I go, I check my station. I see what I have. So they were tricking us because they had the colonies, but it also said like Pennsylvania. And then it said Philadelphia, another one. And both of them were in red and in white.
Yeah.
And then out of the stars, there were 5-point stars, 6-point stars, 7-point stars. So we see all of that. And then we have a blanket to cover everything. So I run back in and I start hearing the first speech. And those speeches were maybe like a minute and a half. So now it's up to you to decide if you want to listen to the whole thing or just one part. But because it was the first time that I'm listening, I'm just listening everything. I'm starting my hands, my counting. Because it was like the first one was this, then this one was the sixth one, and then the one before. But then this one was first to like get like it was complicated, but I just start going back and forth because I realized that it was better to have 3 right than trying to get all 10 and then getting confused. So I keep going back and forth. And every single time that I went back, I was covering my station. And I did got asked why. Like one of the producers that was there, like, why do you keep covering it if there's nobody here? The reason was this. I was putting a lot of time and effort into doing this for making the mistake of not covering it, someone arriving and being able to see all my work, copying it, and just like catch up to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm covering this. I'm not risking it. It's the last leg. No mistakes for us. Or at least that was the hope. I mean, we ended up. But
yeah.
I go back in, and then Betsy Ross had the clue for the color stripes and the stars. So were you
through each of the speeches were you allowed to leave?
Yeah. I realized that. So if I just wanted a little part, I could start listening to them and then just running away. And I always say sorry. Oh.
Team Walla Walla.
Yeah, I keep saying sorry because I was like leaving halfway through the speech, and I just felt. I mean, I'm pretty sure they knew that was a possibility, but I just felt bad, like because they kept talking, and I'm like, bye. And it wasn't a loop. They would start every single time that I arrived. So it wasn't that they just keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. Thank you so much, Ron. And then, so I just keep going back. I think I did mess up first because Betsy Ross had the colors, so I had them different. So I realized that, but fix it right away. So I got it on my first try. I put it all together.
Yeah,
got it on my first try.
You had everything together.
And then we know that we have to go to the Arch Street Meeting House. We stop and ask for direction. And at this moment where we're asking for direction, no. Oh, no, that's true. We asked for directions and they're like, yeah, it's across the street.
Yeah, it literally, like you could, from Betsy Ross's house, you could see the Arch Street Meeting House. Like it was across the street. So like you needed to get directions because I didn't wouldn't have known it was right there. Yeah.
What else? Then, well, I mean, that was a confusing challenge, but like we were ready. And again, I think now I'm gonna bring back the question about the memory challenge. We were prepared for the memory challenge.
We were prepared for a memory
challenge. Have our notes and we have made little flashcards. Like we asked for pieces of paper that we cut them into pieces.
Yeah.
We had the flashbacks, like with the drawings, extra drawings, like the voladores, all the flags,
yes, we
the
took
currency,
notes on
every single little thing.
We quizzed each other on what the detours were, what the roadblocks were, who did this, the countries, the flags, the currency.
So yeah, and with this, I think we should show this map now. So I have a little map of all these places, just for you to have an idea. It says that it's 40 minutes to do the whole loop between all of them, but it's yeah. I mean, we have the start, the stadium, the cheesesteaks, the memorization, then the flag, and finally the bell.
Yeah.
So we were ready for a memory challenge. We were excited about it, but now, like, thinking about it, it's cool that there's a mixed match.
Yeah. I mean, it threw us off because we were prepared for it, but it kind of like not every season's gonna have it.
And we saw it like on
And-
30 seconds, they have the music memory challenge on the second to last episode. Some other seasons haven't had at all.
Yeah.
I think as a viewer, well, this is as a racer. As a viewer, I think it's cool to have a memory challenge because you get to relive the whole season because they show little clips of what happened through the season. And I think that as a viewer and as a fan, I mean, watching at that, like, it's cool. But yeah, as a racer, I get it. Like, it's a way as well to throw you off. And just, yeah, I feel like that's.
Yeah, I would have liked to have kind of used our notes.
Yeah, I think
we did a lot.
This says it right here. The producers know superfan teams are preparing. So again, it's just like, yeah, that's totally true. Like someone that like it might not be a super fan. So then we make it there.
So when we,
we'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get to that question.
So we get to the Liberty Bell,
and we pick a station.
We pick the station, or we got the clue. It says, build this 3D puzzle of the Liberty Bell. And
I love jigsaw puzzles, and I love puzzles in general, because like it's one of the things like that just calms me down, like that I enjoy doing it.
And we like doing escape rooms and things like that. So like all of these like hands-on puzzles and stuff like that. So we didn't realize like the size of the puzzle. So
until we saw that box,
until you like went over to the box, and we lifted it off and we were like, oh, this is like really big, which was kind of cool.
It was
like when
really
you think
cool.
Puzzle, you don't think like this giant, 4 foot.
So now we start pulling all of that, and we start separating by shape, trying to see like what was the largest and all of that. So just to have everything spread, and we would be able to watch, like to look at all the pieces as we were putting them on. Ricky went inside the box.
I had to climb inside because couldn't reach the bottom of the box.
And like that, he passed me the rest of the pieces, and we start building. The way that it was built, it was a styrofoam bell. Oh, it also said on the clue, you might not break a piece because there's no replacement.
There's no replacing. Yeah.
So then the way that it was cut, it was a styrofoam bell that was cut on a zigzag on every single one of the cuts up and down, and then the regular shapes around it. So the layers could fit in between them, like even if it was the right one, but it was the size and everything else. So now we start building the bell, and you see it on the episode that I said to Ricky, like, we need to fill the middle.
The middle, yeah.
So we start, like, thankfully it was the first layer because we were able to break it apart without having to like figure it out.
I think only the two bottom layers had middle pieces. After that, everything didn't. So there were many smaller pieces that you could put them this way, or you could put them this way. It was a really cool puzzle. It was really fun to do it. I don't feel like we were very stressed doing it.
We were having fun.
We were having a great time.
And we haven't seen
right in our wheelhouse. We
haven't seen any other team up until this point.
We didn't see anybody at Betsy Ross, and we knew that it took him, not an extraordinarily long time. I'd say 20 to 30 minutes, somewhere in that zone. So we knew that we had that much of a time before someone had arrived.
I think we got it. Well, I mean, we put it all together. It was straightforward for us. We put it back on the
yoke.
Thank you. And we get one check, and we get a no.
We get a no.
The thing what happened, and I think we did, like, it just wasn't lined properly.
Yeah, so the very base of
that had the pole
was actually a puzzle piece, and it had part of the crack of the bell.
So the crack had to go all the way down,
and we just it was like just so slightly.
So they said no, but we see that everything is put well, so we just join it all together,
patted it together,
and by doing that, we got it.
It lined up.
We got it done. We asked for another check. We get our clue. and it finally says go, go, go. And that is just like, oh, that sensation. Oh,
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Yeah.
Because we know that we're done with this and we're ready to go to the pit stop.
Yeah, it's like
so we
the
still don't know
last task.
exactly like where Glen Ford was it, but we're heading out. Nobody else is in there unless something like really bad happens.
Like we knew we were close.
We knew we were really close. So
yeah. So when we left there, we
go back to the car.
We're trying to get back to the car, and we see Rod and Leticia
arriving to the Betsy Ross house.
So we already knew like we had a huge lead on them. Like it took at least 20 minutes for the flag, at least 25 minutes for the puzzle. Like we knew we had like a decent lead on them.
Here, let me go back to this question.
Yeah, what's this one?
Did they tell you explicitly that the order of the states joining was the order of the stripes? Because if they did, someone who knew would have blasted. I mean, if everything was in order.
Everything was in order. So they told you, I think it was the Washington actor said the order of the stripes are in the order of the states that were ratified. So if you knew that,
I think it would
and you knew the order of red, you knew it started red, white, and you knew that there were.
I think you could have get it done.
If you already knew that it was Delaware, Pennsylvania, Connecticut.
Is it in that order?
It might be. I don't know. I think whatever the order is, if you knew what it was, you didn't have to go in. Like if you were a history teacher or someone saying like that Juan maybe had already knew some of it.
And just a little something. If
you could have just stood there and zipped them up. Like if you knew the flag, like I would have known that there were 13 5-pointed stars.
What I want to say, while this is happening, if you're making an audition video, this is what they want to see. They want to see you, and they want to see you like really calling in someone. Like, are you sure? Like, those are the order. Like,
it's not the order, but I know the first two.
Little things like this is what is gonna get you on the show. Just be yourself and like show really who you are. Just a little tip, putting it out there.
I would say like if you wouldn't have had to go because you could stop and at any point during their talk to go and do the puzzle.
So I guess if you knew it,
so if you knew them
and you just want to confirm like the point of the stars or like the color
I
of
wouldn't
the stripes,
have like for me I wouldn't have had no like I knew that it was a 5-point.
Correct answer: Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, Virginia, New York, North Carolina, Rhode Island. Thank you.
So if you knew them, you wouldn't have to listen.
So now we get on the car with directions, and I start telling Ricky, I start like crying, and I'm like, Ricky, I'm super happy this is happening. And then Ricky's like, oh, this one wasn't the right turn. I'm like, are you really? Are you for real?
He's like pouring his heart out, and I'm still worried. I'm like, wait, you can save this for later because we're not on the mat yet. Like, hold it together.
I'm gonna put it here. Did you think Leticia didn't really know that Philly was in Pennsylvania? I have no clue.
I mean, no idea.
Because she like the thing is there were strips that said Philadelphia, there were strips that said Pennsylvania. So it was just to throw you off.
Yeah, there were some cities on the strip.
So it was just to throw you off. So I think race brain. We keep saying race brain because like once you're there,
thing is a race brain,
and having so many options, you might get a little stressed out. But yeah, we start going, and I'm putting my heart there, and Rick is like super stressed about it. I'm like, we're gonna get there. We have directions. He's like, yeah, but this street is blocked. I guess because of the marathon, things might have been blocked.
No, that was in a different neighborhood.
Okay. I'm just trying to be helpful to you right now.
No, it was just me being in my head, and I went up and around the wrong street, or something wasn't exactly.
But we ended up seeing this hotel, and we stopped for directions.
Again, we weren't going to wander in the wrong direction, so we stopped. Steven, if you're watching, thanks, Steven.
He helped us, and we just needed to know how to get.
Yeah, and I had known there was a 95 entrance right there. I just couldn't remember which direction it was, because there's a south entrance and the north entrance, and if we were going south, we were going the wrong direction.
So we make our way, we get it right. Now we're heading there, and I'm super excited. And as I'm excited, I'm like, yeah, we're going in first. I think we got it. And then our camera person goes, well, you should remember that sometimes like things like flat tires happen, right? I'm like, why are you saying that? Like, why?
Don't say things like that. Like, ugh. So all this 20 minutes, so I had never heard of this Glen Ford house. Beautiful, beautiful estate. But it's in past Northeast Philadelphia. Like I'd never been up there before. So it wasn't in.
I'm gonna put this up because thank you so much. You two won because you ran the race with love, kindness, respect for each other, and we were having fun. Thank you so much. We were having fun.
Yes,
like
we were trying to have fun the whole time. And so we drive up.
So it was 95
minutes.
Once we get out, I have the lefts and rights to the dot. Like I had everything marked, and I knew like how many blocks and everything. I have written everything. We were ready. On the show it shows a little closer, but we
they made it look like it was like very close. No, it was like a 20-minute drive.
We made it there. We see the doors of the property
pulling up. I'm like,
and then we're just told by your crew that they're gonna stay in the car.
I gotta check my hair first.
Oh yeah, that's true. This is the title of this episode. Yeah, I'm like, really?
I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like,
are you checking your hair?
I'm like, yeah. We're about to pull up to the mat.
We were in the pit stop with James and Kayla, and like James was saying, like, yeah, I should have done that on our season.
Yeah, like I knew that we were driving, and like the closer we got, like I knew we were going. There was nothing. Once we got off the highway, there was nothing that was going to happen that was going to stop us for that long.
Yeah,
like I knew we were first.
So did Ricky? Yeah, he did.
Yes, like if you look back, I look in the rearview mirror to check my hair.
That was really funny.
Absolutely.
And then, well, we get there. Our crew tells us that they're gonna stay behind. We park.
Yeah, we were like they were like, just get out and go, and we were like, oh my god.
And this is it. Like this is it. We're parking. We see all the teams over there. We see Phil waiting and
all the teams and
and nobody else is with Phil. So like we're first and wow. I don't even know how to describe it. Like we have seen it like because we have seen it so many times in all the other seasons. Like it's just like a dream come true. Just being on the race was a dream, but like doing this, like making it first was just incredible. We start running. We say like we high five with everyone.
We're like so frantic.
We jump together.
Yeah, and something that I don't know if anybody noticed, but what we did every time we got to the mat, we actually jumped on together. And it was like a little ritual we did every time we got to the mat, we jumped on together. So it was like this last one, like we jumped on together, we like had our hands up, and it was just like it just was such like a cool moment of like we finally like we made it to the mat. And
it was so cool. It was so cool. Then I mean this like condense everything. The feeling of being there, the feeling of being first, that like Phil is receiving us, and he's the last one. And okay, I mean, I don't think I can describe it. I don't think
it really was like an unreal feeling, like just all of that, like joy and stress and the work and the like.
And we're ugly crying over there because it's
ugly crying, and he's like, and just so many like tears of joy, and like the cast,
seeing everyone there
was so supportive, and
then we get to talk a little bit with everyone, like
talk to Phil,
and I brought it up, and I'm just gonna get a little emotional because I brought it up there as we were chatting with the cast, and we're like thanking everyone, like producers, the team, everyone, but the cast, like. Everyone was really special, and I keep saying it, and we said it from the beginning, like being there, we went into the race thinking that we would be the underdogs because the way we look. I guess I was just putting the perceptions out there. Yeah, I mean,
we completely underestimated
yeah.
ourselves.
So we were there,
And
we said it, and I said it there. I was like, we came in thinking that we're the underdogs, and Mary said, like, please, never, ever, ever think of yourself as the underdog, because you put yourself through the whole casting process to be here. Like, you put yourself on this situation, and that makes you you. But saying all of this is like, we went through really hard times. Yeah, it looked like everything was easy for us. It was not. It was not. It was a lot of like coming in with the attitude that we were going to succeed, that we were never going to give up.
Yeah.
And like, we have been on other podcasts, and Ricky keeps saying it over and over and over. And that's something that he teaches.
Never,
his
ever
students.
give up. It's like, sometimes things are going to be difficult. They're going to be hard, but just, you have to keep going. You can never say, I can't. Like, you can. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. But if you just keep going and you keep doing it, it's going to happen. You're going to figure it out. It might take you 22 tries on a windsurfing board, but guess what? You keep going and you keep going and you don't give up. And who knows, one day you just happen to be on a race and you underestimate yourself and you say, you know what? I'm going to give it my all and I'm not going to give up. I'm going to give it my best. And
I think that's okay. So those,
the results could be amazing.
A couple things that we got out of the race, like our relationship, like strengthened so much. Like we got even tighter. Like we just grew as individuals and as a couple. We learned to not underestimate ourselves. Like, looks are deceiving. Judge a book by its cover. Go for your dreams. Why not? And like, even if it's hard, you have a chance to achieving it. So why not? And if you want to be a racer, just prepare yourself. Although there's not an easy way, like I cannot tell you a real way to prepare yourself, because every single time you rip an envelope, and Phil has said it many times, it's a surprise. It's a surprise. Yeah, you don't know what you're gonna do.
You never know.
You'll never be prepared.
What the race is going to be. You won't be prepared.
A lot of the things that were brought up, like, it's like, oh, they have an advantage. Every single team on every single cast had advantages. Whether like is your muscles, or like your physical strength, or like
your brain
power, or you have had this, like we saw it with Derek and Claire, or even Greg and John, like the slam dunk millionaire. Like, it just happened to happen that you have done certain things, and like, we could have gone home in the Dominican Republic, but like, we just kept going. So we have put through all our recaps a little bit, like race tips for future racers, just for you to, like, if you want to apply, just like do it. But I think my last tip for future racers, and like, we might bring more on other videos, but have fun. I think talking to previous racers, talking to our cast, things that happen is that people go through this, focus so much on the tasks that you don't focus on enjoying it.
Yeah.
On that little dance with someone, we saw it with Sean and Michelle, just like dancing with someone for a little bit, like those joy, like we saw it with Kishore and Karishma, like Karishma, well, she got like when she got something done, like it's having fun. I think that, because the memories, we're gonna have it always. So it sounds silly, but if you get the chance to do it, enjoy every single moment, because you never know when it's gonna be the last leg for you. But just, you will keep that, you will treasure that. So just that's as much as I can say for this.
And that's also a tip for life as well.
Yeah,
just have fun, enjoy, be kind, be respectful. And that's something that like we wanted to bring to the race as well, like respecting each other, loving each other, being a little bit competitive, but also like, learning on the way, along the way as well.
Yeah. Then another thing that we've been asked, would we do it again? I think.
Would you do it again?
I think tomorrow. Like, if they call us right now, we will go tomorrow. Like, if there's I don't know, all stars, all winners, like whatever it is, like we would do it. I think that's just really cool.
Yeah.
And then
cool.
I have.
All right. before we get to some
Questions?
questions, please like and subscribe. We also are on Instagram, Ricky and Cesar. We also have
we will have more
personal
videos on
Instagrams.
YouTube. So if you like, just subscribe because we will keep releasing things.
Yeah.
Again, I mentioned it earlier, like we're packing and everything.
Some fun stuff.
Okay, some questions.
So let's get to some questions.
I typed some of the previous ones that were coming out there. What was your favorite Roadblock, favorite detour?
Favorite? Oh gosh.
Well,
I know you had
I just want to put this. Communication and attitude, even when stress, is beautiful to see. It helped through the struggles, and it's a great example of how to handle conflict with grace. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, for me, I know what my favorite Roadblock was. Canyoning, the Stones, Dominican Republic. That was so challenging, and I felt so accomplished. First of all, like catching up with Juan, and then also like being the first one to get it, and also like just sharing that experience with Melissa. Like it had a different outcome of what we expected, but like that was really cool. And as for favorite detour, I think the Murga.
Yeah,
The dancing and
was,
singing,
that
was so
really,
cool.
really fun.
That was really fun. I think you could see it, like you could see our joy of being there. And like more dancing, Ricky. We need more dancing.
More dancing. All right.
That was so fun. What was your favorite Roblox?
Gosh, I don't know that I have a favorite.
Yeah, the car.
No, it wasn't my favorite. I felt proud that I was able to accomplish it. It wasn't my favorite. Again,
the mascot.
Okay,
so then, did you have a favorite? Come on, Ricky, come up with one of them. Okay.
They were all good. I felt like most of them were in my wheelhouse. I was able to accomplish them really well. I mean, the face painting.
Someone said that Betsy Ross was like your great grandmother.
Was Betsy Ross my great grandmother?
Yeah. Okay. So then the next one. What was the toughest leg? Dominican Republic. The second one.
Well, it wasn't in general.
Emotionally,
the leg wasn't that hard, but emotionally, that was the hardest leg. The hardest day was the first day.
Yes.
Puerto Vallarta was hard.
Totally.
Like, physically
okay.
hard.
Was your favorite the baseball?
I think the baseball was my favorite because it was like in and out, like bim bam boom. Yeah, that was nice. That was nice and easy.
Okay. And then what would be the best advice for racers? So I think we said it on the racers recap. Someone asked like 3 tips that we like that a good racer should have. And I think we said adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
We said quick
decision making.
And the third one was a combination of like researching, preparing yourself, running, like doing like whatever you think you don't have as a strength. In our case was like the physicality. We were running every single day. We were doing steps, just like look out for other racers packing videos to see what you should pack. Little things like that.
Yeah.
Just
putting in the research.
Yeah.
I also think communication was really key as well. Like we set up a lot of like communication points for us to like, if I was having a struggle with running or I was having if I was feeling anxious in the car, like I would say it and he'd have to listen. He'd have to respond and like respect that and not just like ignore that.
Then, yep, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Someone else asked if we met Greg and John from last season. It was really nice. They were at the finale party, and it was really cool.
We've hung out with Greg a couple of times.
And then another question: what was your favorite place? I think we had a great time in Colombia.
Colombia was
Guatapé was beautiful, and also that was the first leg that we like did pretty good.
Yeah. Barbados was also really fun.
Barbados was really fun, and it's really pretty. I mean, we got like little things out of every country.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, Colombia for me was just like, I mean, Guatapé was magical, I think.
Yeah.
That for me was.
Yeah, it was really, really beautiful.
And then a couple from here. Post-race, aside from the adoption process, would you also consider the surrogacy in future? just like Ivan and Melissa with theirs?
Yeah, it could be a possibility.
But we keep saying, I think, it could be a possibility. It could be a possibility. Like we wouldn't close the doors. But I think adoption, like there's so many kids.
Yeah, there are so many children that are already in this world that need a home and need love, and I think that is a really important thing that I would like to do and I would like to accomplish and be able to give a child in need, that life. And if I could do that before doing a surrogacy, I could. There are challenges as a same-sex couple. There are challenges, but besides that, adoption is extremely hard.
Yeah, it's a long process.
It doesn't matter your type of relationship at all. The adoption process, for some reason, and not for no particular reason, there are particular reasons why it should be hard, but it is very difficult and extremely expensive for some reason. I get the process should be hard. You shouldn't just be able to be handed a child. Yeah. But I don't really understand why it is so extremely expensive, because you're trying to help, like, give a child a better life. So I don't know. I feel very strongly about it, clearly. And this experience and this financial stability and platform will give us a foundation to kind of build these things and give us a chance to do that.
Yeah. I'm going to combine a couple of the questions here. Like, do you wish the winning team was giving a trophy or a championship rig? I mean, you get a whole video. You had a whole video of this awesome experience.
Yeah,
so
you kind of have like a montage of your entire experience.
And then with that, I'm going to bring this up. We got our clue over here that now we can show proudly. It's signed by Phil, and it says, "You are team number one." So that's for us. This for us was pretty much that.
Yeah.
It's just that memory, like having this clue signed by Phil. It's awesome. It's like an awesome souvenir. And as for the winnings, yeah, I mean, here other winners have said it. You have to pay taxes on it. We don't know exactly when that's going to happen. I think Derek and Claire were really vocal as well about it. I think it takes a couple months. So we don't know exactly, because it's going to be the same with our trips and all of that.
Yeah.
So like that's gonna be a while. Who knows? But in the moment, we're enjoying this.
We're enjoying
again. We're really thankful.
Says,
Thank for everyone for staying.
Yeah,
I know it's been a
little while, but thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Still hanging out.
Yeah. And just like a couple more questions.
What was your come on count? You did say come on, Ricky, a lot.
Where is it? I did say come on, Ricky, a lot. Come on, Ricky.
You definitely got more come ons than Annalise. So, which is kind of funny.
So I think next time we will watch our season, we're gonna have to have a come on count,
count.
Oh my God, and an oh my goodness, because I said those a lot. Yeah, I mean, if anyone else has some questions here.
Yeah, Kelsey's asking, was there anyone that it was hardest to keep the secret from?
I think everyone.
All of you?
we learned to do a really good poker face.
Yeah.
So yeah, keeping it for everyone was really hard. But it was worth it. Just seeing everyone's reactions now with all of this, keeps making me emotional. Just like talking with my parents, it's just all of that.
This one's pretty good.
Okay. How soon were you becoming confident, suspect deep down that you were going to win? Was it from the start or more later in the season? Spiritually?
I think we didn't really feel like we were doing really well until probably leg 4.
Yeah, on the second one in Colombia.
Once we got our second first place in Colombia, we were like, oh, we're doing really well. We took our second places in Puerto Vallarta kind of lightly because we knew we
have been there. So we were
like, we have an advantage here. We knew that. And so we were like, let's see how it goes outside of here. And then when we did really well in Colombia twice, we were like, hey, we're doing pretty well. And then that third win, we even said we're we're not really like a physical team. We're kind of the underdogs. And Phil was like, I don't think you can say that anymore. Like you guys are like a competitor. You're like one of the top teams. And I think that's when it kind of clicked like, oh, we have a real shot at this. Like if we keep doing what we're doing, like we could go all the way. And so that was kind of like midway point around like the mega leg where we were like, we have a real shot at this.
Yeah. Just one here. Do you know which teams applied? I'm not exactly sure, but I know like Mary and Chris, super fans. Danny and Angie, super fans. Rohan and Maya, Melissa and Ivan, super fans.
Yeah.
Who else am I missing?
Kishore is a super fan.
Kishore is a super fan. Kishore Karishma. Like, yeah, I think about half of the teams were super fans and half were recruited.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you? Yes, we need to wait for that. We have learned now from Luis and Michelle that like you can use your points for anything. But we will see. I think we really want to visit Korea. We want to visit Singapore. All four of them sound really cool. So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, Cape Town is
gorgeous. I think this has been awesome. Recapping every single episode has been great.
Fantastic.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for all of that. And like we're really active on Instagram. We're gonna keep posting here.
Keep checking us out. We're gonna keep things going, and
the musicals I think it's gonna be really funny. We're starting as well TikTok. I don't know.
We'll start a TikTok. Maybe we'll start a Cameo. If you guys want to check us out, maybe I'll start a Cameo. We'll send you all some special messages.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Please check all the other recaps. You will get tips for future racers. You will see all the maps, all the little things that happen to us is pretty much on our perspective. As well, check Juan and Shane, Lost Comms, Walla Walla, Read Your Clue, Beanie and Amber have a recap as well. And then all the other podcasts like we enjoy listening through the season, Entertainment, the Pit Stop with Kayla and James, the Racers recap. Who else? Reality Kings, Purple Pants podcast.
Yeah,
Bryce, I just have to give you all the props. Like you made us giggle so many times.
Yeah, great.
It was great. It was a highlight of the week. Like we had so much fun. So check them all out.
Yes.
Purple Pants podcast was really funny. And if we're missing another one that we might have not mentioned and we didn't hear, just drop it over there because we drop it in the comments like that. We can check it out because we really found enjoyment on going through all of that. We still checking all the messages on Instagram, all the comments. Like we're gonna read through all of those because it has been awesome. Seeing all that love.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much, and we love you all.
It's been great. It's been awesome, and who knows? Maybe you will see us in another season.
Ooh,
that would be really cool. We will be really excited.
I'll get my Phil eye ready. All right, everyone.
I think you got it.
That's pretty good.
Happy Sunday. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, oh my God.
Oh yeah, check out the Tar Pit podcast. It's also a really great family.
And we're gonna have another. We're gonna have another interview with them. But yeah, thank you so much. See you next time.
See you next time.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.